Hello, everybody. Welcome to another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. We're here. We're back at it again, and we're going to get on into it. But before we do, as always, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. With that being said, here's a quick word from our sponsor. Mystic Kava, an earthy, grounding blend of kava root, cinnamon bark, cranberries, and stevia. The Brothers Apothecary. Fine teas and remedies. All right, thank you all so much for watching. Again, shout out The Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below. Go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like it. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get on into it. Here is today's guest.
What's up? It's Nate Golden.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, why don't you tell us a little bit about, where you're from, what you do, give us that Tinder profile of your involvement with music.
You got it. I am born and raised in Portland, Oregon.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah.
Yep. Not a lot of us, but I am one of them. I'm currently living in North Portland, grew up in Northeast though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really didn't travel far.
No, not at all.
What got you into music originally?
I was a dancer first.
Okay.
Little kid, wanted to be a dancer. Obviously, huge inspiration, Michael Jackson and all that. So I danced for a long time, and then I think I stopped around middle school. And my oldest brother got his hands on FL Studio. And yeah, he got his hands on FL Studio. He was making beats and he rapped as well. And then I still didn't rap though. I was just making beats every now and then. And then I think around freshman year in high school, I was like, let me give this writing thing a try. So yeah, that's about when I started writing music. But before that, it was dancing, and then it was making beats.
Oh yeah. And did you do dancing like with a group or collectively or as part of a program, or was it just something you kind of always just did?
It was just something I kind of always did. I was always downstairs. We had a mirror set up, and I would be dancing and practicing in the mirror. Did a couple talent shows, and yeah.
Okay, so you had performed with it at some point.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Now, did you feel like the performative element from that translated over to you wanting to do music?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah.
I liked the being on stage, and I think I just I figured out that I had a different creative side and was like, oh, well, this kind of ties into that. So at some point I could do both.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that's awesome. And then this next one, we have a couple foundation questions we like to ask everybody just to kind of keep a running tally. And for this first one, it's one we ask early, it's one we ask often, and it's definitely a crowd favorite. What was the first album you ever bought with your own money?
Embarrassingly enough, it was A Little Bit Longer by the Jonas Brothers.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, it was relevant.
It's actually not skip that. Yeah. I like that album, and it was a great album. All right. It was good.
I think, music at the end of the day is enjoyable for all the reasons. And when it walks into our life, lives are very different from time to time. But hey, if it was something you were vibing with.
Exactly. I don't remember when it was right when it came out too.
Yeah.
I think I still have it somewhere.
Oh.
I think it's still somewhere.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, if you ever want to send it into the show, donate, we'll put it on the wall here so it can live in eternity.
All right.
And then what was the first live show you ever went to? That was one you wanted to go to.
Oh, okay. First live show, that would be Mark Battles and Euros. I don't know if you know.
Okay. Yeah.
You know who there?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I went to that with my boy Ian. Shout out to Ian. Yeah, that's the first show I ever went to, and it's still to this day one of my favorites.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Do you think that helps? So was that during a time when you were getting into music early on?
Yes.
Okay.
I think I went to that show my sophomore or junior year in high school or something like that. And then, Yeah, and at that time I was already like making music, and I liked Mark Battles. He was the headliner, but Euros, still to this day, is one of my favorite artists, like ever. And I was like, I'm gonna go like see him live. Like, this is so cool.
That's definitely a super cool moment, especially like early on in both like music and life kind of thing. Like those are such defining moments.
Yeah, for sure.
Hell yeah. And then this is a newer question. It's one I've just recently started adding in, so I'm fun to see how. I'm excited to see how it goes.
Okay.
What is like the earliest song you remember hearing? Like just ballpark it, but like think back. What's like one of the first songs you can remember being like, this is a song?
Okay. I think like the furthest I can go back is. So a little fun fact, I was not allowed to listen to hip hop until about high school. But I listened to gospel rap. And like the farthest back I can think of is this rapper named Fanatic, and the song was called Fanatic.
Ah, good old self-title.
Yeah. But he's Fanatic spelled like with a P, with like PH. And then then the song is called Fanatic. That's like the earliest I can remember back. It's either that or like some like Mary Mary or some other gospel artist, something like that. Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, thanks for going through that. Like I said, it's a newer one, but
that's a good question though.
Right? Like I try to think back. I'm like, I know which one I can think. I'm trying to like see if I can get further back now. But yeah, everybody kind of has their benchmark song that's like that's.
And I'm like, because then you're like, wait, was that before or after this one?
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to put things in timeline order. But
exactly. Yeah. Oh yeah. And then to round out the foundation questions before we get into more of you as the current artist, do you have a defining moment kind of past like your discovery and like settling into music, but one where you decided like, this is the moment where I want to start taking it more seriously?
That is a good question. I would say that is 2016, late 2016. Yeah. And I think it was, what happened? Somehow the conversation of like music had gotten brought up with my girlfriend, and we were talking about it. And she was like, is there any, like, can you like put it out? And like, so she was actually the person that inspired me to put out my first song, like, so that people could listen to it. Because I'd been writing songs, and I had songs myself, and I had the programs to make them, and just never put them out. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
So somewhere, I know the first song came out in 2017, but I don't remember when it was. I think it might have been late 2016 that like the bug really got there to like, no, actually do it.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah, that's a great moment for sure. Yeah. Like it's something that's said on a couple episodes now, but one of the most important things you can do, in my opinion, my humble opinion for music, is put your music out.
Yes.
Like it doesn't have to be perfect right now. Like perfection is a spectrum anyway, but the most important thing you can do is put the first song out. And then after that, the most important thing becomes putting another song out.
That's the fun thing. I don't know how far back into my catalog you went if you listened to it, but that first song I put out, the audio, the mix is awful.
Well, yeah.
But I love that like there will be this like progression of like the song's pretty good, but like the instrumental and the mixing, not great, because I did that all myself.
Oh no, I did. I definitely went and
slowly gets a little bit better and a little bit better. And I was talking to my engineer now, and I was like, should I like go and replace all of these with like better mixes? And he was like, no.
No, you can always. So, I mean, we'll get into your catalog a little bit later in this, but just while we're talking on it right now, I always feel like the best thing you can do is re-release a song.
Right.
So if you have an early edition of it, putting out a now version or even like a reprised version, so it's like different or like a different, like I always tell people if they have a more moody track, they can make a summer jam of anything if they try, you know what I mean? Right. But like, I think redoing the song in the way that you see it now, and then giving people an opportunity to compare, like
that'll definitely be the move.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hell yeah. But that's
later.
We'll get into more concepts on that in a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's dive into you as the current day artist.
Okay.
And we're going to get the super easy one out of the way. How'd you pick the name?
That is my name.
Ah, perfect.
Yep.
Perfect.
Super easy. That is my
Mom.
name. Yep. My full name is Nathaniel Harold Golden. I have 2 last names.
Oh, fancy.
I had tried other names. I thought about like, oh yeah, what's my rapper name gonna be? And I was like, my last name is Golden.
Yeah, I mean, Nate Golden is a solid.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of those names where it's like, it could be fake.
People don't believe me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tell people at work, like, because I tell people, I'm like, oh, they're like, oh, what's your name? And they're like, oh, I'm Nate Golden. And they're like, no, it's
but
not.
what's your name? And you're like, that is.
My name is
my name.
Nate Golden.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. I mean, that's like who's it? Dan Cable.
Mm-hmm.
His real last name is Cable, but he's in the world of audio in such a way. I'll just shout out Dan. That like
Cable
is such a specific, and he's like,
Right.
no, that's just my name.
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah,
When your real name's that cool. You know,
exactly. You just got to go with it. All right, and then let's talk about your writing process.
Okay.
And we're going to break it up into parts, but we're going to start right at the beginning. So when you get inspired, you are ready to make music, we'll check that box right away.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the things you do to get a song started?
I usually have a bunch of beats that I've already made. Ooh, hit the mic. I have a bunch of beats that I already made, or I have like beat packs that someone has sent me.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes it's something old and I'm just like, I'm feeling the writing bug now. So let's go listen to it. And I'll just start clicking through and clicking through. And it's usually about like 15, 20 seconds of like, I have no melody in my head for this. I've done nothing.
Yeah.
Next. And I just, when I find the one, I don't know what it is, but it just happens. Yeah.
Okay. So will you sit down when you're in like a certain mood and look for something in a certain mood, or do you just always sit down blank slate? You're going to let the beat inspire you?
Sometimes I'm like, let's look for a certain mood.
Okay.
Sometimes I have like a little something in my head and I'll try to find something that matches that. But normally it's like the beat decides.
Gotcha. And do you usually go freestyle, pen to paper, mix of both? Like, what's your approach there?
Style. I'm lucky enough to have like, I've always had like a mic and like FL Studio. Now I have GarageBand. I have Logic. Sorry, not GarageBand. But so I like just press play and I'll just go like bar for bar.
Okay.
On most of my songs, that's how it's written, and then later I'll go back and do a little editing if need be, change some lines, but most of my songs are just record bar for bar.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how do you go about like subject matter and things like that?
Whatever comes out.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what, there's been some times that I've like, I'm going to write about this. And I think I've only done that like 2 or 3 times, but everything else is just like whatever comes out, that's what we're making.
Okay. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. And then once you get a track finished, so not so much released per se, but you've gotten everything written down, you're ready to practice it. How long does it take you to get from like a finished writing to performing?
Oh, to performing?
Yeah.
Depends on the song. If it just like came out really easily, definitely a lot faster. I could probably go from writing a song to performing it in like a week.
Okay.
But sometimes if I had to like force it a bit, it might take a little bit longer. Cause like usually the song that came out faster is stuck in my head more.
Yeah. It's just like catchy more immediately.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now, when it comes to like, I guess I kind of want to dive into that second one a little bit more though. Can you explain what you mean a little bit more by forcing a track to come out?
So most of my songs are probably written in like 45 minutes or like I'll write a verse, leave and come back to it and write a verse, and it's really quick.
Gotcha.
Sometimes I'll get stuck. I'll get writer's block in the middle of a song and I won't know what to write. And sometimes I try not to, but sometimes I will like force it. Like, no,
Gotcha.
We are finishing this verse.
Yeah.
And then it's like, that is usually the part of the verse or the chorus or whatever that I end up changing anyways.
Gotcha. Okay, so more it's just like it's elusive to you in the moment, not that you're like your practice is more to be like, I have to finish something
Yeah.
Like definitively.
Sometimes I do get into that, like, no, like this is going so well, don't stop. Like just get past this one point and then it'll happen. And then you end up like forcing a little bit out and then you like listen to that part and you're like, I can tell.
Yeah.
I can tell that this wasn't natural. But
now that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, eventually it sounds like it gets there.
That it does. It does get there.
Hell yeah. And then for this next one, I want you to look backwards, but let's look at, just because we're so close, it's still all of 2023.
Mm-hmm.
How did your process change during that time?
In 2023?
Yeah.
2023 changed because I started working with other people.
Okay.
Before, everything was upstairs in my attic. It was just me and a computer and a mic.
Mm-hmm.
And now it is a collaborative process. So I've got an engineer that's also like co-producing. I've got other producers coming in. I've got people coming in playing the keys on different things. It's more collaborative now.
Oh yeah.
Which is the way to go.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I we talked for a little bit beforehand anyway, like the shared effort of making music is so important.
Yes.
Like there's so many cool ideas that can come from it. And music isn't something that you have to keep away from people. You know what I mean? Like, why would you not want more people in front of more people when the song comes out? That's just more people. So I think it's a great route. And actually, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was going to say, I do get, for me, it was at least, it's scary to do your creative process with other people.
Yeah, very much so, especially in the beginning, because you're like, am I doing it wrong? Are they going to judge me? Are they not going to meld with this? Mm-hmm. Really, it's all just trial and error anyway.
With my most recent stuff, I got lucky because I went into the studio with pre-written stuff and was like, let's just make this better.
Yeah.
And so I got eased into it that way. And then I made like a new song and made a new song in front of them. So I got eased into it, luckily. But like, that creative process with people there is like,
yeah. I mean, you had your own process already, at least, which is nice, you know, and I think it's appreciated to a degree when people can show up understanding both sides of it. You know what I mean? Like when you can communicate to a producer, an engineer in the language, then it makes everything go more smoothly, and they can explain to you what's going on at the same time to try and build a more constructive experience.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But now let's go ahead and let's talk about one of your creative endeavors.
Okay.
And I'm talking about a track named Fallen.
Yes.
With Mr. Shane Taylor himself.
That is right.
Shout out Shane and Brothers Apothecary again.
Yep, that's right. Shout out Shane.
Oh yeah.
So this song is it's like a perfect song to like want a background on. I wrote the song probably 2 or 3 years ago when I made the beat before I had anything done, any words, anything. I made the beat and I said Shane Taylor on this song.
I mean, the beat slaps, by the way. Like, big fan.
I immediately was like, oh, this is what I have to do with Shane. I have to get a feature. And then I think, and then I wrote it and I wrote my part and then I held on to it a while and I procrastinated on asking Shane for the verse. And then one time we were both in the studio together. And I was like, because he had a session and then I had one afterwards. And I was like, oh, hey, by the way,
would you mind
this song? I was like, how much would you like charge for a feature? And he was like, honestly, depends on if I like the song. Like if it just comes out real easy and natural, then I probably won't charge you. But if I gotta, then I will. And then he was like, okay, cool. He's like, can I play it for you? And he was like, yeah, play it for him. Hook goes, my verse goes, and then I was like, and this is where you would go. And that verse that you hear, he basically freestyled that entire thing in the live, like the studio right there.
Oh, damn.
Basically freestyled almost that. And then he was like, yeah, so obviously I'm feeling this song. And so then he wrote it, and then we got back into the studio together and he recorded his verse. I learned a lot about actually recording with him being there. So shout out to Shane, because I learned a bit about dubs and making your voice and everything sound more dynamic. So
hell yeah. Well, that's awesome. And it's definitely noticeable in that track. Like it's a really well put together track for sure.
Yeah, that was a really fun one.
Hell yeah. But I want to talk about one more.
Okay.
We're going to go backwards a little bit. We're going back to 2020 for this one.
2020.
And I want to talk about Look at Me Now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I was diving through your discography, and I felt like that was, because I went from the bottom up. So I started from the beginning back in 2018 all the way up to now. And I noticed that was really like, that was the track that like felt really defined from like the bottom upwards. Like that was the first one that I was like, this feels like the turning point of your music. And it was really noticeable after that. There was a lot more definition. There felt like a lot more attention to like the way you were moving about and things, the like styles of beats and things like that. So that was, in my opinion, that was kind of a good turning point for a listening standpoint.
Okay.
And I mean, the beat was it was tight. The beat itself was like sneaky, but the track itself actually really had a lot going on. The vocals sounded really crisp. So that was the track that I was vibing with for sure. Okay. But also I do have to give honorable mention to I Do, because that track was also a vibe.
That's one of my favorites. Yeah.
It felt like you were trying something different in that one. And I saw like the influence it had on your music after. And I thought it was a really cool approach.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But getting back to you talking for a little bit, thanks for letting me run through that. I want you to look at your current sound. So the music you're more recently performing, stuff you're sitting on that's about to come out. What are some of the characteristics of your music, like the styles, the attributes, the actual like descriptive things that you enjoy about your current sound?
About my current sound?
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, firstly, I like that it's a lot different than anything else that's out right now. The biggest thing that I like is live instruments.
Yeah.
I've got some live instruments.
And
I'm really excited about it.
Hell yeah.
It sounds so good.
Hell yeah. And is that something you're currently performing with, or is that something you're getting ready to perform?
That is something that I have performed with just to test the waters on how people felt about the songs that I am going to be putting out. And I will be continuing to perform with them. Hopefully I'm gonna do some more shows with some of these songs that are not out yet, but I'm excited about it.
Yeah, that's a huge step. And I mean, really where I hope we're moving just in general anyways. Like I think live music as a majority of the sound is it's an enjoyable route to go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then what is your current favorite song to perform?
Current favorite song to perform. I have only done it once, but Fallen was so much fun. That's the most fun I've ever had on stage before.
Hell yeah.
And I think part of it is because I was on stage with somebody else, but also that is probably the most upbeat song one of the more upbeat songs that I have. That song was easily the most fun that I've had performing. Shout out to Chain for inviting me to his thesis performance to do that song.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Now y'all know, definitely be ready for that one when it comes on next.
Yeah, that one is the most fun.
Hell yeah. All right. And then for this next one, this is probably the densest question in the interview.
Okay.
But we've talked a lot about, the experiences of music, your actions, your reactions, the things that kind of came to and where they are at now. But when it's just you and the music one-on-one, what does the music give back to you?
What does the music... Man. Honestly, it's like everyone has like their different thing. And for me, that is when everything else disappears. That is my moment when like everything else is like gone. Nothing else matters. And I'm just like there. Like I can get so absorbed into it that like time just isn't a thing anymore. And I'll look up and it's been like hours.
Yep.
And so I guess with that, like peace, a big, and just I get to express myself. I get to just, expression and peace.
No, I love that.
Yeah.
I resonate with that. I always call audio editing my sound, or my sand garden.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you get to do these peaceful motions and you kind of get to sit in the space. And then when you're done, you get to look at this creation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I love that.
Yeah.
All right. And then to wrap up this middle portion, what is your goal with music? What does the end look like for you? And I mean, I know it's ever changing, but at this moment, what would the end look like for you?
Honestly, my goal has been for a while, literally just to be able to make a living doing what I love, which is music.
Okay.
Like that's my goal. I want to be able to make a living doing what I love. I want to be able to reach people. I mean, every artist wants people to like feel what they do. I want to put a little positivity out there.
Hell yeah.
That's really like my goal. Yeah.
No, I love that. All right, now let's go ahead and let's move on to some hypothetical questions.
Okay.
And for these, they're all made up, so the answers are allowed to be as well.
Okay.
And this first one's pretty straightforward.
Okay.
But if you could work with any one person, the only prerequisite is they have to be alive. Who would you want to work with, and how would you want to work with them?
Okay. So I have a really weird answer to this question, but my answer is Brian Michael Bendis. He is a comic book artist and writer, and I would want, as I've thought about this, I have this idea. No one steal my idea, all right? To write a comic and have like a soundtrack that goes with it. So like while you're reading the comic, you have like a playlist of music that's kind of like putting you into the mood, into the vibe of each issue. So I want to do that. I think that'd be so cool.
Oh yeah.
Each issue has like either one song or two songs that just like embodies what is happening in there. Yeah.
Yeah. You could even have like, you could even come up with your own like subscription or like group club where it's like they sign up for the comic book and they get a little like 2 or 3 track EP,
right?
That like comes out with each issue.
Yeah.
So like you can just go and get the book if you want to, but if you're like part of this team, you also get the special music that goes with it.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah. That'd be an experience for sure.
Yeah.
I had a similar concept with my old band Smooth Talk back in the day, but we won't dive into that one right now. But no, I think that kind of stuff in general, just like any way to make, you know, like you look at like a lot of the like East Coast rappers, how they kind of have adopted the like Marvel Universe cinematic mentality. So they have like trading cards and like hype beast aesthetics and like figures and things like that. Extra stuff, you know, like Czarface does lunchboxes.
Yeah,
like,
right.
I think that kind of stuff in general just adds a layer. It's like a different type of tangibility. And that I think that's important.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And then subsequently, who's a local artist that you're aware of that you haven't gotten to connect with yet, but you would like to?
That's got to be Maul London. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've met him a couple times and we've talked, and at some point we'll work together. At some point.
Yeah.
But I have songs with some people that just aren't out. Like, we have them. Well, they're just not out.
Well, everybody go at them in the comments, and you go ahead and put all those ones that you have with other stuff, with other people out.
Right.
And we'll all meet in the middle.
Yeah.
All right. And then for this next one, like I said before, sky's the limits, and that's pretty literal in this one. But if you could perform anywhere in the world, and you wouldn't have to worry about crowd access or building stability or power, guaranteed best lineup, guaranteed best show. It doesn't have to be a venue. It can be anywhere. Where would you want to perform?
The Parthenon in Greece.
Oh, okay.
But like, not the Parthenon now, because they're like rebuilding it and fixing it.
Yep.
I want the like still messed up Parthenon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It's like the Theseus's ship theory.
Yeah.
Like I want that part. I don't want it fixed up. I want it like how
that
it
run
was.
Down, dilapidated look.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Where it's like every piece there is the old pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
So,
I mean, I always think like performing in places like that would always be so much cooler. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, you know, McMaskill Square Garden, the Sphere, all of that stuff. Those are all cool spots because they're made to be cool.
mm-hmm.
But like those spaces in the in-between are like the spaces where it's like it's cool because of outlying features that have nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like there's something special there for sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. And I'm a huge like Greek mythology. So like
you would connect with it for sure.
Absolutely. It's all on my arm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, the Parthenon, that would be so cool.
That would be awesome. All right. And then to wrap up the hypothetical question, if you could get one more album from anybody. They could be alive, they could be dead, they could have put out an album yesterday, they could have not put out an album in 100 years. Who would you want an album from, and when would you have wanted it to come out?
And when? Oh, snap. Okay. I would probably go with... Ooh, that's a good question. Added layer. I'm going to go with Joe Budden. And I would have wanted it in sometime in the last 2 years.
Okay. A little post-COVID.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Sometime in the last 2 years.
Hell yeah. Solid choice for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Now we're going to go ahead and start wrapping this up.
All right.
Why don't you tell us what we can look forward to for let's say the first half of 2024. What do you got coming up?
First half of 2024? Okay. So actually next month, I will be putting out my first single for my debut album.
Okay.
So that is coming. And then probably still within that first half of the year, the second single from my album will be coming.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Any idea on when the album might be coming out, or is that still?
I'm looking at beginning of fall.
Okay.
I feel like that's kind of like the mood of the music is fall.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, definitely looking forward to that.
Yeah.
And then for this next one, go ahead and look straight at the camera and tell everybody how they can find you.
You can find me on any social media that I'm on at The Nate Golden. That is TheNateGolden.
Hell yeah. And then any other plugs, any other shout outs, anybody else you want to put on while you're on here?
Oh, yeah. Big shout out to Frankie, Katie, Tiana, the entire Page Street Sound Lab crew. That's where I've been recording at. They are absolutely amazing. If you want to go record your music and have an absolutely amazing sound with an amazing team, go to Page Street Sound Lab. They're amazing. And yeah.
Hell yeah. All right. Now we've got one last question to go.
Okay.
But before we do, I'm going to steal the camera for just a second.
Go ahead.
As always, y'all, please make sure to like, subscribe, push all the buttons, do all the things. You know, I don't know where they are, but you do, and I trust you. And one more shout out to the Brothers Apothecary. Make sure to click the link below and go check them out. Guarantee you're going to like it. With that being said, the final question. And this is entirely up to your interpretation.
Okay.
But what is an album you feel is more on the obscure side, so not a lot of people know it, but is one you think everybody should know?
Album. Okay. I won't lie. I've watched some episodes, and I've seen you ask song, so I prepared that one. But I actually, honestly, album is easier. Hard Believer by Fink.
Hell yeah.
It is one of like my favorite albums of all time.
Hell yeah. Well, y'all definitely go check that out after you check out his music.
Exactly. Yes.
All right, but we're going to go ahead and get up on out of here. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's been awesome.
Yeah.
And this has been another exciting episode of Jimmy's JamBox. I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Nate Golden.
And we're signing off. Later, y'all.
That's a wrap. This is not a podcast. This is a show.
Keep jamming.